now it's time for Outsiders Weather and the Skeptics Ice Age Watch, where half the country is engulfed in freezing cold weather, 113-kilometre winds and snowfalls, and even the army have been called in to help with record-breaking freezing conditions on the very day, August 11th, that David Burton, on his Inigo Jones long-term forecasting page, predicted over a month ago would be the exceptionally cold day that it is. That's the same David Burton who the ABC's Paul Barry sneered at and mocked. That's, I think, the third uncannily accurate prediction from David Burton. Mr. Barry, I think you owe him an apology. Even the Bureau describes the conditions as Antarctic. Wow, sounds like an ice age could be coming. Some New South Wales towns have snow for the first time ever, with cars buried under the snow, and one celebrity Instagram user described the freezing conditions as insane. Indeed, you'd have to have had a few screws loose to go to the footy in Canberra on Friday night. Midway through the freezing cold first quarter at Manuka Oval, the snow arrived and became increasingly heavy as the first half wore on, in which they had, unbelievably, for the first time ever, snow at an AFL game. Hawthorn won, by the way. Players had to wear electric blankets, and sitting on the bench, they had to dip their hands into buckets of hot water to stay warm. What could be more insane than that? Well, blaming it all on global warming for one thing. But thanks to the climate change cult, we have made our electric heating bills amongst the most expensive in the world, which means that people can't afford proper heating and increasing numbers are getting disconnected. Some elderly, poor or otherwise vulnerable people tragically will die thanks to this insanity. As we know from a report in The Lancet a couple of years ago that showed that whereas only a tiny percentage of deaths are attributed to the heat, about 0.5%, a whopping 7% of deaths occur, that's 14 times as many, are related to the cold. Still, the lunatics living on this particular hillside asylum, from where they can gaze over the Brindabellas and the snow-covered mountains for the rest of the week, they carry on with their Paris Agreement madness. Just as insane is the latest lefty craze for what's known as flugskam in Swedish, or flying shame. These nutty activists aim to demonise the airline industry in the same way they have so successfully demonised coal. How smart is that? Indeed, so determined is she to avoid travelling by air this month to attend 2 climate change conferences, one in New York, one in Santiago. How many friggin' conferences do this mob need? Greta Thunberg is sailing across the Atlantic on what she boasts is a zero-carbon yacht. Zero carbon. But skeptics note that the yacht, the Malizia 2, ain't exactly the Mayflower. It's owned by Pier Rainier Stefano Castrillagi, the grandson of Prince Rainier III, and a former playboy, a royal playboy, who happens to be 8th in line to the throne of Monaco. The yacht is far from carbon-free. It's made from high-tech carbon fibre, all sorts of other raw materials, and the energy used in the moulding and construction is massive, which means the vessel has a huge carbon footprint, as indeed does the generous Castrillagi himself. The young royal is a majority shareholder of the Monaco-based construction company Engeco, and a majority shareholder in the luxury private helicopter airline Monacair. While she's still all at sea, Greta Thunberg might want to ponder what went wrong at her most recent climate-lovey, teenage climate-lovey fest, according to Swiss media outlet Blick, reasons off unter den Greta Jürgen. Big trouble for Greta and the kiddies. The last days of the Smile for the Future climate summit at the University of Lausanne was chaotic, with teenagers having crying fits and violent quarrels because none of them could agree on the next steps to save the planet.
Come here, coward, then. All this talk. Right. I'm not going to be part of Ralph's lot. I'm going off by myself to the rocks to hunt and have feasts and have fun. Anyone who wants can come too. Jack!
Welcome to Lord of the Flies, folks. The genius of putting kids in charge of climate change activism. What could possibly go wrong? In the meantime, why not make your own version of Ice Age Watch today? Just pop outside, open the window, and that's it from Outsiders Weather and the Skeptics, Ice Age Watch.